You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
This is very exciting. 5 of us haven't been in the same room in a minute.
It's true.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's because we did a at-home episode, then BM was gone, and then both of us were on.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. And it's nicer outside than when we had to do the at-home one. Cars wouldn't start. It's lovely in Edmonton.
Gorgeous right now.
Beautiful
Day.
Like a balmy -4, I think.
-2.
Wonderful.
Just out there.
Not bad.
That's great ODR weather.
Tarps off,
fantastic.
tanning outside.
Why not?
Get a little bronze, get an early start on the summer.
Might have a margarita tonight on the patio.
I had enough
your
margaritas
style.
on Saturday night to last me a lifetime, I feel like, but we'll get there. We will get there. Welcome to the Tuesday episode of Oilers Nation Radio. Plenty to discuss. I don't know if you heard, but the worm is in town.
You heard?
It's going to be weird, but we'll get there. Oilers on a 13-game win streak. We're going to get there too. We're going to start off with a delicious debate from my friend Tyler Yaremchuk, our friends at Wendy's, who's still in the daily face-off survivor pool.
Out day one.
Not me.
I was also out yesterday.
I bet Kerfoot under a point. I didn't even know what team he was on.
Well,
He scored yesterday, though. He's on Arizona. Did he score the own goal?
No, he didn't. I checked.
That would have been a
That'd
bummer.
been so good.
That would have been a bummer.
everybody else out?
I have to set reminder to do this better.
Did you know that there's a leaderboard for this?
Go ahead.
And the leader is only at like 24 points.
Because it's impossible. This game is way harder than I thought it was going to be when we started.
Yeah.
But the point is, even if you haven't started playing yet, the top prize for the year is $5,000 cash. Yeah.
So on the season,
You can stick
the leader is 23. I'm not in the top 60.
Yeah, there's no way I'm in the top 60 at all.
But I think if I can go on a bit of a run here the rest of the way,
13-0.
I might have. I need a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a run here.
I need a run. The only person I saw in here whose name I recognized was Captain Felton at 37.
He's in the
Well,
hunt.
he is a captain after all.
He is. He's only 11 behind.
Daily Faceoff, survivor.com. That's where you need to go to sign up. Get yourself a little bit of food from our friends at Wendy's, including the bacon portobello mushroom melt. Available for a limited time only. I haven't got one yet. I need one. I might couple the Wendy's sponsorship with the DoorDash sponsorship. Bring them all to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Synergy. Tyler, what do you got for a delicious debate today?
The Oilers DoorDashed themselves an improvement for the third line by bringing in Corey Perry. I don't know where I was going with that, honestly.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
So this is a Wendy's segment.
Yeah, it's a Wendy's segment. You're right. Let's just get to the delicious debate. It's a fill in the blank edition. Pew, pew, pew. The Oilers signing Corey Perry is blank.
I think it's awesome. I've hated Corey Perry for almost 2 decades now because he's so annoying.
Yep.
He'll fight. He's scrappy. He scores. And I know he's a 38-year-old guy now, so like the 50-goal season is long behind him, but still
38 years old, basically dead.
doesn't get older than that.
Okay.
So
Starting off
I just
well.
think that I'm super excited about it because he's going to add another layer of annoyingness into the Oilers' bottom 6 and potentially moonlight upward if needed. He's still going to be a smart player. He's still going to be annoying. He's going to draw other teams into penalties. He's going to do a lot of things that I think the Oilers are missing kind of lower in the lineup. And I'm super excited about it. And as much as that's weird to say, I will begrudgingly cheer for Corey Perry, though I will spit after every time I do.
I'll enjoy every minute of it. It's one of those players where you hate to play against him, but you love him when he's on your team.
That's exactly the point.
Everything in the past is in the past. It doesn't bother me at all. We have one goal going forward, and I think everyone knows what that is. It's fitting, though. It suits us. It adds an element that we probably were on the lower end of having. People keep comparing him to Evander Kane, but I think he's different. They end up in the same place, either in a fight or in a scrum by the net or something like that after the whistle, but they get there in different ways. Evander kind of gets in a protective role. Corey Perry is going to be in front of the net, creating these issues for everybody and pissing people off.
Yep.
And if, for some reason we have 28 shots on goal and we can't score, that dude's going to go to the front of the net, and that goaltender is going to hate his life.
Well, that's the thing
he
that I
sits
love.
there to try and get in his head and make the goal scoring a little bit easier.
I love greasy goals. And if there's anybody who's not afraid to get into those areas to score them, it's Corey Perry. He scored a ton of them over his career.
So
And watch, he's gonna, at the end of the year or at the end of his time here, however long it is, he's going to have a better percentage of goals allowed through review. And they're going to be more, I don't know what the word is, but they're going to be a little more greasy than a little more bad than say Hyman's, where Hyman's are usually, he accidentally did something, but Corey Perry's going to be doing this shit on purpose, and Corey Perry's going to get more goals because of it. It's going to be really weird, but it's going to be enjoyable.
My favorite part about Corey Perry is, for the old boys like us, Rick, revisiting all the sweet Mike Comrie jokes from 20 years ago.
Those have been fun to read. But more like, oh yeah. Do
you guys know about? Do you guys know that story?
I get that reference.
Do you guys know the story?
The Mike Comrie one?
Yeah.
Trade.
Wasn't he supposed to get, there was supposed to be a trade? I don't know.
It was supposed to be a trade, Comrie for Perry.
Okay. In 2004, something like that?
Comrie wanted out, and then he wanted to go to Anaheim.
So then, to complete the trade, however, Kevin Lowe asked for Mike Comrie.
We were very, very rough in the pocketbook at the time, okay?
Okay.
Our bank account was in the red. There were a lot of digits to the left of the decimal. Things were very bad.
The Edmonton Investor Group was just like, come on, man. So Kevin Lowe asked Mike Comrie to pay back a chunk of his signing bonus that he had got from Edmonton to make the trade go through. And obviously Mike Comrie was like, no.
Yeah.
That's not how bonuses work.
you think the Ducks would have stepped up and been like, yeah, we really want to do this deal. Like, we'll front that cash.
Didn't happen that way.
Would have been a different world. had it
Didn't happen
happened.
that way.
So the
Disney
deal
money
was
too.
1-for-1?
I don't remember exactly,
Yeah, I
but
don't
the
remember.
most important part was the bonus money coming back to him.
Wow.
So that ultimately killed Corey Perry being an Oiler for 2
And
decades.
he referred to it yesterday.
Yeah. Which is hilarious.
I thought I was
And
going to
he
be an
went
Oiler.
directly
But
to Philadelphia.
Yeah, Mike Comrie did.
Yeah.
he went to Philly?
Yeah.
What did we get?
I don't remember.
Probably something really good. And the guy who's
That wasn't.
a legend in this
It's not
town,
the
I would
maroon.
assume.
No.
Let's do a Mike Comrie trade
Sorry, never mind.
tree.
Here we go. There we go.
So originally the Oilers traded Craig Millar to get his draft pick rights. The Oilers then
Greg Millar from
Oh,
Buffalo.
no.
That was part of the Miroslav Chaton trade.
I should have known this
Him
one.
and Barry Moore.
The Oilers got 3 assets in return for Mike Comrie, 2 of which would go on to briefly work at the Nation Network.
Go on.
The first is Jeff Waywitka, Liam Urban.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
Man, did I have big hopes for him. He
Jeff
was like,
Waywitka?
yeah. Was
Tyler's getting a little choked up here.
Was
getting emotional.
Oh, that was Danny Savret. That was the captain. of the London Knights.
Jeff Waywitka played junior in... Where did he play? You got it right
It
there.
was well before you were old enough to watch.
Red Deer.
Red Deer. That was he is a legend in Red Deer.
So the Oilers got Jeff Waywitka, Rob Schremp, and Danny Savret as a part of the deal.
London Knights.
They did work for the Nation Network.
Rob Schremp eventually, yeah, that's why I said it. Rob Schremp eventually would go on to be let go by the Oilers. They never got anything back for him. Danny Savret was then traded by the Oilers to the Flyers in exchange for Ryan Potulny.
Yeah, but go now go to the Waywitka. What
Yeah,
did
it was
Waywitka get us? 'Cause
Jeff
I know who
traded
he
for.
got me.
I just wanted to make sure Potulny's trade tree ended with the Oilers. It did. So then eventually, obviously, Jeff Waywitka was a part of the deal that landed the Oilers Kris Pronger. So you can continue to follow this trade tree and go from Kris Pronger, who was then eventually dealt from the Oilers for Joffrey Lupul, Ladislav Schmid, Nick Ross, Jordan Eberle, and then a second round pick. The Oilers would go on to flip from there. This would be a great.
We need Ebbs back again to get this tree back on order.
Yeah.
They were
And
talking
then-
about it.
Digging it up and replanting it somewhere else, right?
This is the Mark Messier trade tree.
Yeah, they do intertwine pretty
Yeah.
significantly because then eventually Lupul was traded for Jeff Sanderson and Yoni Pitkinen. Laddie Schmid was eventually obviously traded for Laurent Brossoit and Roman Horak. Jordan Eberle was then eventually traded for Ryan Strome. Strome was flipped for Spooner. Spooner was flipped for Gagne.
That reminds me of that.
Gagne was then somewhat flipped for Athanasiou.
That reminds me of that tweet where it's
Holy
like, "Hey, you
moly.
want to go out tonight? No, we're just gonna stay in and just go over like obscure
niche
wide receiver
wide
names or
receivers.
something like that."
Yeah, it's like, what'd you and the boys do last night? And it's like, oh, we made the best baseball team of players from the year 2000 whose names start with R. And it's like, what?
There are so many ghosts that you just listed there that I just completely forgot about. What a time to be alive being an Oilers fan. Back to business for the delicious debate for our friends at Wendy's. Dan?
I had hopes for every one of those teams, though.
Yeah, every single one of those guys. I'm like,
I had big
they are
hopes
going
for
to be
every
the
single
answer.
one of them.
The answer is here now.
Danny said right. He's going to captain our defense now. I know it. I can smell it. I can taste it.
To answer the delicious debate, I would say my answer is found money. It's a bonus to be able to get a guy like Corey Perry off of the free agent wire for nothing. And I think everybody kind of has that asterisk next to the excitement for it, just because there is a question mark as to why he departed from the Blackhawks. We'll never truly know. He spoke a little bit more about mental health and that kind of thing in his press conference yesterday, but it's found money that has like a little bit of a question mark to it as to why that money was just laying on the floor. And if that's going to creep up again, I hope it's not. It's just a short-term deal, so it shouldn't, but that would be my only little caveat there.
I just imagine he's going to be on his best behavior, you know?
You'd think, but he had a pretty sweet deal in Chicago.
Big difference between playing with a young team like Chicago and playing with an older team.
But he
that's
was
a
also
cup contenders in the Oilers.
He was also loved in the locker room by all those guys on the Blackhawks, reportedly,
100%.
right? And like, I don't even think it's, and I talked about this in my instant analysis piece up at the Oilers Nation YouTube, where you should be subscribing. And I was like, I don't even think it's fair to lump him in with Evander Kane and Zach Cassian. Like those were different than this. Virtanen even, obviously. So
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think it's a little different. That's why like my answer would be it's a perfect fit. Like he's exactly what you wanted to add into this bottom six. He's a right winger. He's dirt cheap and he cost you nothing.
Yeah, I didn't have to trade assets because now you can use those assets to do literally anything else.
And he brings a lot to the room.
Yep.
Like he's going to be an addition. Like Mike Smith was off the ice. Like Duncan Keith was off the ice. And a lot of people aren't going to like that part, but it's going to be massive.
I always like having guys in the room that have cup rings too.
Yeah, he's been there. He's done that.
He's the only Oiler with a cup ring.
Today.
Nice to have. Today.
Really?
Until June. Then they all get one.
Who else in there has one?
I think Derek Ryan has some U of A rings.
Speaking of which, Waz got to meet Derek Ryan last night. So
ring?
excited. Beaming.
The Oilers now have 3 Hart Trophy winners on their roster.
How many other teams can even say that? Pittsburgh would have 2.
I don't know.
Lightning.
Tampa Bay
Kucherov,
have 1.
and that's it.
Stamkos never got one?
No.
Even if you did, don't have 3. Now we got 3.
Take that rest
Eat
of the
it.
league.
Take that, Wade Redden. Not sure where he took some shrapnel today, but
What's Wade Redden's trade tree?
Probably pretty messed up.
what do you got for Corey Perry, Liam?
I think it's a good ad. I like that he fills a hole in a place of necessity. Can play a lot of roles. And I think he's going to be great for the Edmonton Oilers. And yeah, that's
It
about
creates,
it.
it
Nothing
creates
else really to
an
add.
issue for the coaching staff on which forwards to play, no?
I think it's a good issue though.
No, 100%. Like, is there a name that fall? Like, obviously the 2 names automatically are gone now, and Hamlin and Ernie. When it comes to putting Corey Perry in, is there a name that automatically becomes the first in line, or is it like this guy, that guy, or this guy?
I'm going to throw a name
I think
out
it's the
there.
second one.
And I don't think everybody agree with me. But for me, the guy out would probably be Matthias Janmark right now.
Which is funny because he's the one playing higher than everybody else.
I know. And he's a crucial penalty killer for this team. But you look through it.
Does Corey Perry kill penalties or no?
No, he doesn't. Derek Ryan scored a big goal the other game against Toronto. Also a penalty killer. Connor Brown has been, despite not scoring, which he may never, he's been very good.
So at this point, like he had a chance against Calgary on Saturday
He's
night.
putting right back
it just
into it.
made me laugh.
He
at
almost
this point
shot it back
'cause
into
it's
the goalie's mask.
fuck, man.
I know. It's crazy.
He just needs the one.
Holloway, you're obviously not taking out.
No.
McLeod's obviously not coming out.
No.
Sam Gagne just scored the game-winning goal. Like
It's Gagne,
but-
Ryan, Janmark, Corey Perry circling.
Yeah, you
cycling
rotate them.
for 3 spots.
But if you were to take a guy out today to put Corey Perry in the lineup, for me, it would be Janmark.
See, for me, I think it would have to be either Derek Ryan or Sam Gagne. Because I think
that's-
and that's fair. Like, I mean, there's going to be an argument for everything. Gagne doesn't power play. Gagne doesn't penalty
Yeah.
kill.
Yet
Janmark
he's
penalty
still on
kills.
pace for 20.
Blows my mind. But I said at the beginning of the season, if we get to the point of the year where Gagne and Ryan are playing at the same time, that things are probably not looking too hot because they're both kind of the same player and they're not exactly in their prime or large bodies or specialty one way or the other. I think it would have to be one of those 2.
I I agree
And
with
both
the
have,
argument
and both
too,
have,
for either one of
have
them.
proven to be able to score when you put them back in after 4 days off.
I just think Matthias Janmark, as good of a penalty killer is, he's not providing offense. He has one goal this season.
But the PK is like, it's so
It's
good
crucial.
right now.
I know.
Scares me
I
that
completely
don't wanna,
agree.
like, mess with it.
Well,
But
that's
you
what I
have
wonder if like they're going to want to tinker with a PK unit.
But
as
they also
primary
said, like, back when he first got, when Knoblauch first got here, he cut down the amount of guys killing penalties, right? Because he wanted to keep it a smaller group and more pride in it. And this is your guys' area, and this is your guys' whatever, and get out there and do it. When you take someone off of that and you plunk someone in who hasn't been doing it, the chemistry there between those four guys, is there something there?
I also, like, you talked about taking Janmark out of the lineup. Just got me thinking, is he not a really obvious trade option for the Oilers? Like, they're going to be pinching pennies come deadline time, right? So if you want to add a third line center or you want to add a top six winger, and it's like, we probably need $1 million going out the door here at some point. Like, Gagne's league min, Connor Brown is league min for this year. Derek Ryan's $900K. So there's $100K difference between him and Janmark. Ryan has the extra season, so team might not take him. Like, I don't wonder now if maybe Matthias Janmark, even though the gap is small, if that's not a guy they maybe don't look to move at some point.
That's fair. I'm trying to
I
figure
get
out
it.
how.
It would be
but
a
I
bummer
just-
for the depth chart.
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Because I think at this point now you're trying to build up that depth chart, and I don't think like adding one and dropping one is the greatest move. But if you're taking a step up in terms of skill, in terms of production on the ice, then maybe it is worth that risk.
You've gotten the freebie and Perry. Like, let's say you can add a top six winger, and just to make the money work, you throw Janmark into that deal. Then you're still in a situation where you're sitting one of Gagne or Brown every night. So
I think they're probably. My guess would be looking closer at defense than a forward at this moment, just because the Oilers have been very healthy on D this year.
Yeah.
And, I don't mind a Broberg call up at all. But like if two go down, then what?
Philip Kemp.
the forward.
The forward.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said defenseman.
Yep.
Philip Broberg.
They played Kemp on the four. They played
it's a
Kemp
joke.
forward.
Oh, I was zoned out.
being
I was
rascals.
looking at this. Did you guys see
This is the whole he plays center, but he's on a centerman bit again.
Did you see Simons broke? And when?
Them all.
Like literally like collapsed on the car.
Oh, the ceiling?
Yeah.
That was
That was a
crazy.
couple nights ago.
That's how they get you.
That's nuts.
Please explain.
Just in general, that's how they get you.
That's their anti-theft device.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there was
Drive
also
away in the-
this other stuff about like snow plows just ramming into cars. And I'm just thinking, what's my car going to look
Where are you
like?
going right now?
I don't know. It just there's been crazy stuff going on in Edmonton today.
You're not here. We need
No,
you to be
I'm not here right now. I'm sorry. I was just this city, man.
He looks a little stressed.
It's like Gotham.
When's the last time you had a banana?
It's been a while. I had a banana
Maybe
muffin
that might
now.
be the
Why are there
that
no
might be the
bananas
thing.
here?
I had some munchies out
Tyler
there.
should have like a couple bananas in his fucking pocket or something.
Tyler
Just
should
ate
supply
some
me
fruit.
bananas.
You guys spend enough
Yep.
time together.
Holstered for moments like this where you're in disrepair.
Where were we?
We're wrapping up the delicious debate, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next?
Who's your ideal? Like, where's your ideal? Like, over above who comes out? Where's your ideal spot for Corey Perry right now?
Third line.
I don't think you tinker with the top six at all.
No, you don't.
No.
But they have tinkered with it through the winning streak, and it's been fine, right?
So what do you got? Hit me.
It's when they get
There's a
down by
part of me
goal,
that
too.
wants to see McLeod back up with Draisaitl and Fogle, and Kane with Perry and Holloway.
Kane, Perry, Holloway. Who's your fourth line
Man,
center?
that line would
Derek
cause
Ryan.
mayhem.
I don't love Derek Ryan at center, which is why I'm hesitant to do it. But
Yeah, I think
there's
you
a
said
part
that.
of me that thinks there's tremendous upside to the Holloway Perry Kane trio.
Holloway, Perry, Kane. Two guys who can score goals. Holloway would have had 3 assists the other day if Connor Brown and Cody Ceci knew how to put it in the back of the net.
Again, I'm still my delicious debate now and always is which one of those two gets one first.
Corey Perry.
That's so sad.
It probably is Corey Perry.
Oh, and you mix him in, yeah.
See, just on the Holloway moving him up the lineup, I get it. And I love that second line of McLeod, Dry, and Fogle. But the speed aspect of having Holloway and McLeod in the bottom six on separate lines too, I think is very, very important for the Oilers too. And I would try to add more speed into that group.
That's
So
a lot more
I just
offense down there too.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Derek Ryan a lot. I just don't love the idea of a fourth line potentially being Sam Gagne, Derek Ryan, and Connor Brown, which with Hamlin, those two have done well.
I don't mind it. Really.
I don't mind it either. And I think they work hard enough that it would be fine.
Because we're kind of just past the days of like grinding fourth lines.
Got to move.
Yeah.
You got to move. And those are some guys that, again, somehow Sam Gagne's on pace for 20 goals.
We got to be wild. Like Sam Gagne is not doing this by playing the way we saw when he was drafted in 07, right? He's redone his game. He's been around the net. He's putting the puck on the net. He's going to areas. It's not fun. He's doing exactly what Derek Ryan does out there.
Doesn't hit anyone hard, but he's always physical on the forecheck. Lets you know he's there.
Yeah.
For a smaller guy, Sam Gagne is not easy to play against.
No.
He'll stick you.
He'll get you.
Sometimes you gotta.
That's how they get you.
And again, game-winning goal against the Calgary Flames in 2024. Didn't see that one coming.
Pretty wild.
Pretty awesome.
Pop a clutch.
Especially from where he scored it from.
Yep. The old
how he scored that one.
Yeah, I don't know how that went in either. We'll get there.
We don't ask how. We only ask how many.
6.
13. And counting.
8.
How many goals does he have?
5. I thought.
What's 13?
What?
Oh, 13 wins. I thought we were talking about how many goals Sam Gagne has.
I thought you guys were just saying numbers out loud at random.
Me too. I was very
There were numbers that meant something though. Yeah.
Well, how many goals does he have?
41 in honor of Taylor Chorney.
What's his trade tree? Boy.
You guys are rascals.
Here we go. Taylor Chorney trade
Went to
tree.
St. Louis.
has not been traded once in his career.
Not worth shit. Just traded.
Tough.
He was an answer on Liam's game a few weeks ago.
Was he? What was the question?
I describe Taylor Chorney and you have to guess who he is.
All right. Well,
do you know Tom Gilbert's coaching now?
Where?
Madison.
she coaches marketing.
Yeah, I know.
Madison, Connecticut?
Wisconsin. Yeah.
Wisconsin?
Capitals, whatever they're called.
All right.
There you go. Assistant.
I'm going to read this next part verbatim.
Okay. I'll get ready.
For a limited time only, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the promo code NATION25. That's 25% off, up to $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code, Liam?
Nation25.
Don't forget, Nation25 gets you 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms do apply. I want to know who delivered for you. So, I haven't been here in a minute. So I'm going to go back a little bit ways. But in terms of the Flames game on Saturday, win number 13, Tyler Yaremchuk, for our friends at DoorDash, who delivered for you?
Stuart Skinner, man. I mean, come on. We keep racking up 2-1 victories. And even when the Oilers gave up the one goal, I wasn't worried because I was like, I think Stuart Skinner is going to be able to make enough saves to keep them in this. Liam, we did the math earlier today on what his third period numbers are in this winning streak. And do you still have them?
Of course. It took me 4 minutes. Of course I kept them.
All right. So what do we got? Give me his third period stats during this winning streak.
They're going to be good.
In the third period during his win streak,
Go ahead.
he has played 10 games. Mm-hmm. He has a goals against average in the third period of 0.3.
Gives up one goal every 3 third periods.
His save
that good?
That's pretty good.
bad.
Okay.
Save percentage is .967.
Is that good?
That's pretty impressive.
All
and
right.
the only game he's allowed more than one goal in the third period was against the New York Rangers when he was like 0.1.
0.1 seconds left. The fact that Stuart Skinner has given this team so many clutch saves over the last little while is just so wildly impressive and such a massive reason why this winning streak has been extended to where he is. So Stuart Skinner gets my who delivered.
10 games in a row with a save percentage over .912. 9 games in a row where the lowest save percentage he had was a .926. Fantastic.
I got another one for you from NHL.com. Games started where the goalie save percentage is above 900. There are only 2 goalies in the NHL who have more of those in the entire league, and it's Thatcher Demko and Connor Hellebuck, the 2 guys who are running away with the Vezina conversation right now. 23 for Hellebuck, 22 for Demko, 20 for Stuart Skinner.
That's pretty good. And Skinner beat Hellebuck in one of those games.
Nation Dan down at the end of the line. Who delivered for you for our friends at DoorDash?
It's just going to go out to the Oilers fans who showed up in Calgary and just really took over that building. And it was fun to be able to see. We had Kennedy in the stands there showing some video of the press gallery. What is it called? The
Press level.
Press level. Yeah. Getting rowdy and orange and blue. It's just awesome to see. I love to see Oiler fan travel. So Oiler fans showing up, delivering.
The best part about like a Saturday night game too with the Saddle Domes, I'm going to say there's more Oilers fans than there is Flames fans in there.
Probably pretty
Right now there
close,
is.
60-40 probably.
Yeah.
And then you include the siblings all there.
Yeah, with the way we're playing right now, it's easy.
60-40.
Yeah.
Liam, for our friends at DoorDash, who delivered for you?
I'll say Dylan Holloway. Didn't look like he missed much of a step. Almost had 3 assists. Grabbed 1 assist, which he didn't really do too much on because Sam got to use a sniper. So I'll give it Dylan Holloway for delivering and giving the Oilers another option in that bottom 6.
Tyler, for our friends at... I'm skipping.
I'm good.
You had a bonus one. You'll go last. Rick, for our friends at DoorDash, who delivered for you?
I think it has to be Ryan McLeod. I think that was probably the best goal of his career he's seen. I think he's playing the best he's ever seen in his whole career right now. His speed out there is insane. The fact is like his hands just can't quite keep up to his speed kind of tells you something about how fast he can go. He keeps the defense on their heels. He's out there. He's everywhere on the ice right now. And that goal that he put up Saturday that was pretty.
Any surprise it didn't get challenged? It was close.
The offside. I know, so I was working, but the one view I saw, it did look like it was going to be super frame by frame, and they didn't get into the frame by frame, so I don't really know, but it looked like his back edge was still there.
Do you guys get the sense that like coaches are starting to get a little bit more apprehensive at challenges now?
And I love that because it's the existence of that penalty, right? Yep. Especially almost when you're playing the Oilers and you're like, okay, this is tight. It's 50-50 on there. Do I want to lose this challenge and then have to give them a power play where I can't get any momentum and run the risk? There's a 30% chance the Oilers are going to score on that power play and then put the game out of reach. Or do I just say, you know what? We'll get one.
What's the automatic challenge on every goal? Isn't there? Don't they review every goal to make sure it's good? That you don't like the coach does, but it's only based on like.
Then they just review if it goes over the line.
I think so.
Is that that's okay.
Making sure it's in
Breaking news. Carter Hart has requested a leave of absence for citing personal reasons from the Philadelphia Flyers. So did Dylan Dubé the other day for his reasons, different. Both of those players were on the Hockey Canada roster.
The rumors
not to speculate too heavily. You don't want to
allegedly, in our opinion.
Same team.
No, they were. Yeah, that's actually not.
We're on the same team.
You can't. Yeah, that's not speculation. That is straight up fact.
Well, there's the facts, folks.
Yeah.
That
Liam
is
delivering the news from both WEM and the NHL.
Bring up the roster. Let's see.
I want to go back a little bit because I haven't been on the podcast in a minute, but for DoorDash, who delivered for me is the Oilers' resilience. Like I'm looking at the schedule. Yeah, they beat the Flames 3-1 at the Saddle Dome. It was great. They were never down in that game. But if you look against the game against Toronto and the game against Seattle, they were down 2 goals after the second period. Just kept at it, just kept grinding, battled their way back, ultimately won both of those games. By the way, 4-2.
Couple of those.
Told you it was going to happen. So I just want to give some shout out just to the Oilers as a whole for the resilience and not kind of like folding the tent, even though their starts weren't necessarily as good as you'd like. Like the Seattle game specifically, they were so sloppy in the first period. How many breakaways was there? There was like 3 or something.
3, and Skinner made a huge save on the third one.
So I think that just as a whole, their ability to kind of stick with it, find different ways to win during this win streak has been important. So shout out to them for our friends at DoorDash.
And what's interesting too is like, we know that over the last kind of 10 days here, they've been running on fumes a little bit some nights. Like they've gotten good goaltending and that is great. But there are a lot of nights here where you're like, ooh, they didn't have their best and they squeaked that one out. What's going to happen when the power play eventually gets humming for
They're kind of in that little slump they have this time of year every year, except for they figured out how to play defense.
Except for their goalie stopping 95% of the shots he's facing.
And they're finding ways to score at 5-on-5.
And just that one goal, right? So what happens when they do come back, and I was thinking that the other day, same thing, is that they will find their offense again right away. And if it's tonight, then if it's tomorrow or Thursday night, eventually it's coming back again. And then I think some teams have got to be really worried because this team's going to be very, very, very difficult to beat.
100%. And the fun part is like, you can't call them power play merchants right now because they're getting the job done at all scenarios.
Their leading goals or their leading point producers at 5-on-5 during the win streak are Fogle and McLeod. Yeah.
12
Each a
for
point
12,
per game.
13 for 13.
You
Yeah.
can't see it.
Crazy.
You can't do that unless you're PK Subban.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for Friday. He's my cold performer.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't play defense. Haven't watched your games. Okay. We'll get there. Stay tuned for Friday. Stay tuned for Friday. Any other kind of, anyone else deliver for you? Tyler, I know you had a bonus one.
I had a bonus one.
Was it me?
Was it Liam?
Yeah, maybe it was you.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I think that's really
I had a
nice.
bonus one.
Thanks. What do you have to say?
Something happened at the watch party there that you want to give a shout out for? Or?
No,
I thought you guys did a great job.
Yeah, post gaming it up live from the Fairmont JPL. That was a lot of fun. We had a live studio audience. They were laughing at our jokes.
Quickly emptied.
Quickly. It did quickly empty. Yeah, everyone went on to go do other things. But
You know what? When you're at the JPL, I get it.
yeah, it makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't think that was a comment on our post game show, Liam.
No. I want to touch on something else a little bit before we move on to the Pond Hockey recap. Do you think that signing Corey Perry effectively for free eliminates the need for like the Bukestad trade where it's like a pick and a prospect for a player who's on an expiring deal, but that they're going to use it to do something like maybe that's assets you use to get rid of Jack Campbell? Like Ken Holland talked about yesterday, it kind of opens the goalie trade market a little bit.
That goaltender's been playing pretty well in the AHL right now. So I think you just kind of leave him down there until the trade deadline. If someone's there, you'd make that. But I don't think you try and push it right now.
Talking Campbell or Rodrigue?
Campbell.
He is playing well.
I'd still get rid of him anyway.
So
You're still trying to look at it, right? But I don't think you have to force it right now and try and
No, don't force
add
it.
too much to get rid of him right now. Because if he brings his game back up to a point, you might be able to sell somebody on some magic beans.
I love a good bean.
So my thing before all this was like, okay, if you're going to get rid of Jack Campbell, you're going to have to attach significant future assets to it. And then you're going to have that cap space. And then to spend it, you need to go spend significant future assets, right? To go get a winger and a center and a D-man and all those things. It's like, okay, you almost don't have enough future assets there. But now if Dylan Holloway can come up, and I really don't like the idea when people are like, Dylan Holloway's like a trade deadline ad. It's like, well, no, we've been factoring him in since the beginning of the year. He's not really like a trade deadline ad.
He would have been here all year.
Yeah. But if Dylan Holloway comes up and proves he can play center at the NHL level, that changes up your deadline plans. Now you've gotten Corey Perry for free, and it's kind of like, okay, if those two things both pan out, then maybe I am more okay with spending significant future assets to get out of Campbell and then sitting there and adding a big name winger to this team.
A big win this year?
Yeah, right now at the deadline.
Who? Come on.
Jake Gensel's out there. Tyler Toffoli is
Jordan
a name.
Eberle?
Ricard Raquel?
I want to aim higher than both of those guys, Eberle and Raquel.
Oh, how dare you turn
Wow,
back
you're
on
done.
Ricard Raquel.
You've given up on Ricard.
2 seasons you were pitching for Ricard Raquel.
Like
and you just
literally
turned your back on him.
every week before the trade deadline for
This
6
is
weeks.
shocking.
Who was the guy from Buffalo that was supposed to come here?
It's over.
Oh,
The
Drew
dream is
Stafford.
dead.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Raquel has like 4 more years at $5 million. It'd be a terrible idea.
Listen,
The dream is dead.
you're telling me you couldn't bring Drew Stafford in here right now in a 1-year deal?
To the old people.
But I'm more open to it now because you've gotten Perry for free, and because, you know, this idea of Holloway playing center now exists. Like, yeah, let's go. Give up whatever you need to get out of Campbell and then improve this team to the max. That's why I brought up the idea over the last week of like, hey, maybe you look at trading Brett Kulak and just running with Broberg and get an asset for Kulak, and then
Kulak's playing well, though.
He's playing well, but
He's only given up 1 goal in the last 180 minutes played. All situations.
That is solid.
I didn't make that up. That was in Gregor's game notes.
The way you looked at him was like, look what I just said.
He had that one in his pocket for a while.
But the idea is Kulak maybe a luxury you can't afford, or can that money be spent better elsewhere? And can Broberg just handle those minutes for you?
Yeah, you move Kulak for a pick or whatever, and then you use that and CC to upgrade CC.
I'll throw this one your guys' way because I brought it up on Oilers Nation every day today. Who says no? Kulak and the first round pick to the New Jersey Devils for Tyler Toffoli at 50% retained.
He's a UFA at the end of the year.
UFA at the end of the year, pure rental.
I'd like some term if I'm being selfish.
He's the type of player you might be able to get as a UFA anyways. I would probably be pretty interested in that because I think Toffoli's a guy who can score from the wing, who's like a one-shot scorer.
Yep.
And I think
Playoff guy.
Yeah, and like if you get Leon, a one-shot scorer, especially an off shot, for him, where he can hit him on the far side of the ice. I think that could pretty special, be pretty dangerous.
I'd love the idea of Jake Gensel. I just have no idea what it would cost because I imagine there's going to be a handful of teams that are looking at Jake Gensel.
And he's like $6 million. Like getting him down to the point where you can afford him will be very hard.
What type of player is Gensel?
Playoff guy too. Like I think he's pretty similar to a Toffoli.
But no, when he get is he
He's a guy
a
who
goal
knows
scorer the way Toffoli is?
He can play with skilled guys. Like he's done it with Sid forever.
Yeah, but is he going out and scoring the Toffoli type goals where there's shots from the circle, shots from the dot, shots from a little bit further back than that?
Yeah.
34
I think that's
goals.
the type of player if we are able to add would be
34 playoff goals in 58 games, 58 playoff points.
Point a game guy in the playoffs, has hit 40 goals recently, 36 last year. Like
20 this year, 27 assists, 47 points this year. May I float an idea out there because Tyler asked me about this one?
Sure. Sidney Crosby.
What if
fourth line winger.
Frank put this out today as a possible suitor, but what if the Oilers were able to get Chikrin?
No.
So I said, put this one out there, and I said this. I think this would be a better trade than bringing in the Toffoli because I think it eliminates the question mark of a Broberg. You bring in Chikrin, trade Kulak and a couple of picks for Chikrin, and you have Vinny Chikrin, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, CC. I know I've messed up the sides on the bottom.
I don't like the idea of spending more assets and more cap just to upgrade your third pairing defenseman.
The defenseman itself worries me. He just got to Ottawa and they want to move him already.
Well, they're brutal. And he's just an asset that they can move on from.
He's not obviously. He was brought in to do something. He's not doing it, and he wasn't really doing it in Arizona. And there were doubts and there were question marks about him when he left Arizona. They went to Ottawa and everyone's like, oh, up there, like, this is great. This is great. This is great. Things have not been working there. I just find like that's not a player I want to take a chance with on a team that.
But I don't.
You have a player out there who's letting one goal in 180 minutes in all-time minutes.
I understand.
Thank you.
I understand what you're saying, but in the same breath, it's not like other guys have gone to Ottawa and dominated either, right? There's been a lot of guys that have gone there and been like, "This is the answer. This is the answer. This is the answer," and then they've all gone to shit.
Yeah, so if they can't play as a team,
then maybe that's on the Ottawa, not on the players.
But I don't know. I just I'm
ask
just
a
not
question?
willing to take that chance right now.
Just because I don't know.
He's the highest scoring defenseman on Ottawa this season.
Is there any element to Chikrin that's kind of like what's going on with PLD in LA and just the terms of like, he's just kind of like, I don't know.
No, I think Chikrin's actually really good. He has 27 points in 42 games from a defenseman. Pierre Ledoir is like,
what kind of minutes is he getting? Because he's not going to be getting those fucking.
He's averaging,
those nice
I believe,
here.
about 17 minutes at 5-on-5.
Against what type of competition?
I didn't look that deep. I only got asked about an hour ago.
That's fair.
I think busy checking out the Simons news.
That was crazy.
You guys hear about the snowplow that hit the truck?
Mm-hmm. Liam told me.
Snowplow stories are actually wild. It's ridiculous they can just do that.
On, so just I keep up with.
You say it's wild that they can just do that?
Just plow into cars?
Well, they're not supposed to. It's not like they're allowed to just go do it.
I've heard it's a joystick issue, actually. In those Hyundai tractors, they have a joystick issue in cold weather, too.
Really?
But when they do it, there's no repercussions.
Oh, there absolutely is.
Is there?
Yeah, the city has to pay. That you and I actually have paid. No, not you. Sorry, you're in Sherwood Park. Yeah. Anybody that lives in Edmonton pays that.
Interesting.
Taxpayer dollars.
What do you think? They just hit insurance cars and are like, well,
yeah.
Hopefully you had a second vehicle because that one ain't working anymore.
I thought the rule was that like they put out their notice that they're going to come and plow, and it's your responsibility to move your vehicle. So if you don't move your vehicle, it's kind of like collateral damage of like,
maybe.
Well, you didn't listen to the rules.
Not really. Like normally they'll just windrow you in.
Yeah, which is
that's
a pain in the ass. But
I don't think
whatever.
I don't think it gives them the green light to be like, well, let's just run over this Corolla.
It's like if you're in a bus lane, you're not allowed to just like the bus is not just allowed to ram you out.
You know what? Maybe we need to be there though.
Interesting. Well, let us know. Leave a review.
I would like you to leave a review.
Where you live, Liam, the police go ahead of the snowplows and knock on doors and let people know ahead of time. I know this for a fact because I used to live
residents.
there. Not in Edmonton.
Not in this Gotham City.
The parking ban has been announced. You got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
GTFO.
But I mean,
plows coming through.
Our cars may be plowed right now because we're all in this podcast.
Could be.
Never know.
I'm in on Chikrin again.
All right.
I would just like to have a guy like him as a depth defenseman, not have to pencil him into the lineup. Like I could see an acquisition like that. I'm thinking like a Marc-Andre Bergeron style of player where it's just like some offense that you could put into the lineup, because we just keep talking about how 1 or 2 injuries to this defense and we are
like a Philip Lawson.
I'd like a
Philip Lawson.
I'd like a Jason Smith type.
Just
like
depth.
Those guys are 7s.
Just depth that feels
Philip Lawson. You're right. He was more of a 9.
depth that feels like we didn't have to subtract
double
to get to it.
digits.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think that there's no argument that Chikrin's better than Kulak. So if you can get it down to the same money, then it's an option. Just thinking out loud.
We got to move on.
I do think a defender, an actual defensive defenseman, is more important for this team if you can upgrade on Kulak.
Defenseman.
Yeah.
We got to move on. We got to talk about the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament for our friends at Booster Juice. Fantastic tournament. The activations from Booster Juice with the player of the game was pretty awesome. I mean, I won. It was very undeserved, but I still won the player of the game. So I'm very excited about my Booster Juice 1 free smoothie coupon.
Was that what it was?
I also got a water bottle, a little puck, a little toque.
Whoop.
Very, very nice package from our friends at Booster Juice.
What are you going to get?
Well, that's the tricky part.
Dollar amount?
Just 1 free smoothie, Playboy.
Oh, just one drink.
I'm going to get a quad XL and save it, use it for multiple days.
I am thinking Mango Hurricane.
Oh,
Arguably my favorite. Toss some strawberries in there, maybe. Get a little frisky.
Just order it in blender size.
It was fun just kind of seeing some of it. Yes. Can you just pass me the blender? I will drink from this. So it was fun to see Booster Juice kind of out and about, and everybody kind of pumped when they got their Booster Juice Player of the Game prize. I thought that was really, really well executed at the tournament. Very excited about it. And just fun to see.
who doesn't love a good Booster Juice?
You got one too, Tyler.
I did get Player of the Game once.
And?
Bragger.
Well deserved. At least yours was deserved. Like when you say earned, not given, mine was given.
Didn't Chalmers give his away to Pat?
Yeah, Chalmers got his.
He was Chalmers was the worst player of the game of all time, just because he made the referee, scorekeeper guy laugh the entire time because he was unhinged.
Yeah, had a couple of pops in him and was just mouthy as all hell. Back
to the tournament though. Ultimately, this is the third year in a row, Tyler, that we've been able to go and experience it. The tournament gets better every year. It gets bigger every year. The weather was fantastic this year. Playing the first night under the lights with the snow coming down, it doesn't get more picturesque kind of than that. It's one of the most beautiful ODRs you'll ever play on. It was fun to hang out with the boys from Flames Nation. It was fun to hang out with the boys from Daily Faceoff / Leafs Nation. And it was fun just to meet a bunch of people that they came because we've been talking about this tournament now for 3 years and they want to make it part of their January routine.
Yeah, like Chalmers said, you and your buddies go on golf trips and all that, whatever. And there are people there, the group from Seattle, this is their trip every year that they do as boys. They fly in, drive out to Jasper. And it's an awesome time, man. It's my favorite weekend of the year. It's one of my favorite events that we do from both an execution of the event standpoint, doing the watch party on Saturday night, getting to play hockey in the mountains is unreal. Mm-hmm. But then the flip side of getting to hang out with everyone we work with, I also love it too. And I just think if you have a group of friends going out there, having a cabin at the JPL and then just hanging out, crushing beers and playing hockey, getting to walk to the rink, you park your car and you leave it for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It's the perfect weekend. It's awesome. Liam got to experience it a little bit this year too.
Yeah. I had a bit of FOMO seeing what you guys were doing on the Friday night. So I came, I don't think I was there for 24 hours. But it was awesome.
You were definitely not there 24 hours.
You were there for 19.
Tops, maybe 17.
Yeah.
Great. Had an excellent tub session.
We did. That was a good tub session.
We stayed in the Queen's cabin. Well, you guys did. It was an honor to be in the same building.
It was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Liam could feel her presence as soon as he walked in the room or in the building.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
The accent came right out of me.
Fueled by Booster Juice, download the new Booster Rewards app today and start earning berry points for delicious and nutritious smoothies, drinks, and food that you will get throughout the day. Download the Booster Rewards app. Lastly, the last thing I want to say about the tournament real quick is just, if you're on the fence about joining us next January, just do it. You got to be there. It is, like Tyler said, one of the best weekends of the year. And this year we got so lucky with the weather as well that it was really the perfect weekend.
Breaking news from the Oilers. Phil Kemp loaned to the Condors. That'll solve their veteran problem.
That'll solve their forward depth issues as well.
Ben Gleason to get called up.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that solve? Like Kemp just doesn't go down.
So Kemp isn't a
You
veteran.
need one of the vets to come up. No,
Gleason
yeah,
is a veteran. Yeah, because
AG.
Bakersfield has the veteran issue where they have too many guys.
yeah.
So they need one guy to
getting
come
up.
up, which is Gleason.
I gotcha. Other guy, Adam Ernie, got put on waivers and cleared.
Farewell.
Fairly well, Adam Ernie. You know, he was a wrecking ball out there. But
He grew on me.
yeah,
He was playing effectively. He wasn't doing anything that any ordinary player couldn't do, but he wasn't a liability, I don't think. I think he actually got
I did
more
like his physicality.
effective.
He was a wrecking ball
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
By
he
the
did
chief.
well.
So like
But the others upgraded.
he did his
It is what
job
it is.
well, but his job is the easiest thing in the NHL to do well. A fourth line winger who doesn't kill penalties and doesn't score. Like,
They
yeah,
have
sure. I liked his physicality. He played well, but he's a jag.
To his credit, though.
Yeah, but
to his credit, the
5
goal he did
minutes a
score was a
game
beauty.
And also started the win streak.
Playing 5 minutes a game isn't very easy, especially trying to be effective in your 1.5 shifts of period.
What are we doing here, guys?
Tyler,
He goes out there and skates and hits 2 guys, and then like it's very easy for him to do what he does. In the grand scheme of the NHL, in the grand scheme of I just saw this yesterday on Twitter, and it irked me. People have been like, "God, I think Ernie deserved to stay up."
He definitely he definitely got pushed out of the
nobody's
game.
saying that.
Okay.
But nothing about what he was doing out there is easy.
Yeah,
Why
it's
do
not
you
like he
hate
won
Adam
a job in
Ernie?
the NHL by hitting a scratch ticket?
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, relative to every other position in the NHL, being the fourth line winger who doesn't kill penalties and has no expectations of scoring is the easiest job in the league.
All right, Adam. Sorry, buddy.
Bit harsh.
Sorry, pal.
Yeah, maybe a bit harsh, but
You know,
whatever, I'm
we're trying to pump your tires here a little bit. And
Games
Tyler's
on-
just like, nope, stab tire.
Games on the road, a good 7 minutes of his 8 minutes are against their best players. Not getting scored
No,
on.
they're not.
When you match up lines and that line is out there, you're not trying to put your best line out there?
I'm gonna fact check that.
In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, and then it's time to bring Waz in for his signature segment. Can you clear that up for me? It is time for You've Been Waiting. He's been waiting. We've all been waiting for our friends at Greta. Go check them out pre and post game. You want to get a little food in you before the game? You want to get a little Mario Kart in you before the game? Go on down to Greta. You're going to have a great time. I'm still undefeated on the Mario Kart game. I only played once recently, but I won. That's what's most important. Check out Greta. And as always, we welcome Waz in on Tuesdays for his signature segment. Can you clear that up for me?
How you doing?
Excellent.
All right. Starting off, this one comes just kind of after the Battle of Alberta. Clear this up for me. What makes a fan base look bad? Oilers fans were chanting after beating the Flames, "Let's go Oilers, Calgary sucks" in the concourse and everything. And I saw a couple comments saying, "This is why the entire league hates Oilers fans," or "Have some class, you're better than this." I thought it was just playful banter.
Well, I mean, Flames
That
fans.
one's so mellow.
Yeah, Flames fans are in a tough spot right now. Performance wise, the team is not doing well. They're watching their brothers and sisters up in the north exceeding, excelling, heading towards a Stanley Cup. It's understandable.
What was the thing we did in Vegas that people
Exactly.
really called?
Shame.
This isn't just
Shame.
this
Shame.
isn't just
Shame.
them.
It's one of those things where unless you've been there to experience it, you go, oh, but like in the context of the moment and being there, it totally fits.
That's a really good
And
point.
you know what? Eat shit, Calgary. How's that?
Anybody that's asking that question, would they be standing there in the concourse when the chant is going on with their arms crossed, not doing anything? I guarantee you they wouldn't.
Also, like, it's sports. Like, sometimes it's not that deep. Like, not every athlete and fan, like, you don't always have to be protecting people's feelings. Like,
Thank you.
If you're going to an NHL game, you're allowed to chirp the other team. You're allowed to chirp other teams' fans.
The amount of time Calgary has been up here where like there's the let's go Oilers or then Oilers suck, or like the reverse of what happened in Calgary. It happens all the time. People are just
Go to a
Not very much
European
recently,
soccer game.
though, because
Can't even-
Calgary sucks.
Yes.
they can't even seat them by each other.
No, you're literally not even allowed in the same like ways into the rink. So
That being said, don't chirp Connor being injured or else I'll fight you.
Well, it's also kind of what about Habs fans booing Connor McDavid? Is that kind of
it builds an atmosphere.
Well, that was in their own
thought
building,
it was-
so
go for it.
fair game.
we
Boo
won.
him. He's the best player on earth. He got into a primary assist on the game winner. Great job, Montreal.
I did like, and it's one of those things like as a home team fan base, like that's the challenge is you're supposed to get more excited than we are, you know, do better.
This next one comes all the way back to the Chicago game. Can you clear this up for me? Does Connor McDavid whine? I personally don't think he does. Some hockey fans tend to view him as a whiner with how he talks about the officials. What would whining look like to you?
That sounds to me like people who are not old enough to have watched Sid play when he first came in. He was a huge one. Connor doesn't complain that much. Captains talk to refs all the time.
It's literally his job. He has a letter on his jersey to say that he has to speak to the referees. That would mean that it's not whiny.
Grow up.
But also, like Sid when he was first in the league and Connor when he was the first in the league, they take more shit than any other player. They get hooked and slashed more than anyone. Do you disagree, Rick? Oh,
Absolutely not.
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing.
No,
but right, like if anyone's allowed to complain, it's the best players because in the NHL they are shafted in the way they're treated by the officials.
100%.
If you see like LeBron James does not take anywhere near the amount of shit in his respective sport as like the stars in the NHL do.
Sure, it looks like he does though.
They protect. Well, yeah, of course, but he sells it. They protect their stars in that league way more than the NHL does. Connor does not whine. Give me a break.
I would call those people who say Connor
whiners?
McDavid whines whiners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, let's look at the penalty. What game did they say that one?
Chicago, the offside. Remember, he had that kind of viral.
Okay.
Go, yeah.
And then there was also the one against Seattle the other day where he like slashed the guy and he barely touched him. And he would complain about it because it was a horrible call. But whiners be whining.
There you go.
Takes one to know one.
Yep.
Next one comes down to goaltending. The one thing I was trying to, I thought this next last week when they played Detroit. Are we getting a little too comfortable with Skinner and Pickard? More so Pickard as a backup. I feel like he hasn't been too great. Games against Florida, New Jersey stand out. Can you clear that up for me, or even educate me?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Basically, are we too comfortable with Pickard as the backup?
No, there's just nothing else they can do right
He's
now.
got a 903 save percentage.
He's been good.
I think what you're trying to say is there a better option for us? And the answer is still no, other than maybe Rodrigue. But that was I think that's kind of been quelled since every time Pickard comes in, he's pretty damn solid. Like, yes, he's not ending the world and not making us make a decision between him and Skinner, but he's great in his position.
Also, let me just say, like, in terms of talking about acquiring a goalie, part of it is, yes, Pickard's played fine. Part of it is Stuart Skinner's been elite. Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, you're never going to get an upgrade on Stuart Skinner on the trade market. So this team's going to go as far as Stuart Skinner will carry them from a goaltending perspective. Don't waste assets upgrading Pickard. Make the team in front of Skinner better with those assets.
Objectively, Calvin Pickard has won 4 of his last 5 starts.
Hasn't he only lost 1 game?
Actually,
what else do you want your backup goalie to do?
And
your backup, he's not even like a true backup. He's like a true number 3, I think, in this league.
And he's allowed
playing really, really well.
And he's only allowed 13 goals in those 5 games.
Yeah, these are just people wanting to pick on little things for no real reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, was.
Sorry.
Nice one, was. I'll
next
back play it up for you.
Why do you hate the team, boss?
Next one here is, I don't know if you guys saw this today, but Matt Larkin put out a tweet that ruffled some feathers. He said, the Oilers are playing well even with Woodcroft. They just weren't getting saves. The new coach turnaround equals to just having your goalie luck normalizing. Is that a true statement? He's basically saying Knoblauch has helped, but is essentially being overhyped.
But the goaltending didn't normalize in a weird way too. It excelled everything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's fair to label it.
Part of what
has been better.
Part of what Matt said is true, but like you got to give Kris Knoblauch credit for a handful of things. Like the PK has improved dramatically. We talked about his willingness to stick with line combinations, even though things aren't going perfectly. He doesn't go back to the McDavid-Draisaitl well. Like after PKs, of course, chuck him out there. I love to see it, but I think that he deserves a lot of credit. And I say that as somebody who was rattled when they got rid of Woodcroft because he's a very good coach. Yes, some of the Oilers stats have kind of regressed to the mean, but ultimately, I think not giving Kris Knoblauch credit when he's won, what is it now, 21 of 24 or something like that?
I think he's lost 6 games.
You got to give the guy a little bit of credit.
I think another thing for it too is, okay, so yes, your goaltending is playing better than he should. You're getting the depth scoring is off the charts right now. The defense is moving the puck better than we've seen it before. We haven't seen Darnell Nurse play this well for a long time. Bouchard's having a career year. Your goaltending, like I said, is off the charts. And it's just like, you have the penalty kill. You have all these things going well for you. And then we just want to sit here and be like, well, this all would have happened if Woodcroft was here. I just don't think that's fair to the work that Knoblauch, Coffey, Stewart, and what's the other guy's name? The guy who's been there forever.
The Teflon Don.
Mark Stewart.
How do I
Glenn
not know his name? Glenn Gullitson. The work they've been able to do with this team over this game stretch is unreal. And nobody thought they were going to go on an 8-game win streak and a 13 potentially plus game win streak. That is hitting the charts, but this is down to the coaching staff, I think. And I do not believe the others would have hit these same heights with Woodcroft.
The team. They were going to get better anyways. Like we saw it out of the Seattle game. I thought they were better in that Seattle game. I thought really that saved.
Except that shot prop in the third period.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. But that wasn't going to go your way. No, I honestly thought after that game that Woodcroft was kind of like good. I thought the team kind of like corrected themselves. I thought we get another game or two out of it. They made their move. I think Coffey has definitely done a lot with the defense. But overall, I think the team is playing better on the ice, and that's to the players with the skates on, and it's to the coaches. It's to the entire organization.
I just think that the statement from Larkin that is the part of it that's true is just the overhypeness, I guess, just because like you said, Rick, and I think Oiler fans to a person would say that they didn't believe that first 13, 15 game pocket of the season was indicative of what they actually had on the ice. And so that's where the hype comes into it, I guess, so the overhyping, but I don't think even Larkin is taking away from Knoblauch.
I guess I have a different context because I talk to Larkin as much as I do. He always, right at the start of the season, he goes, the Oilers do not make sense to me. They are so much better than they're playing. They're going to be fine. And then when they fired Woodcroft, I remember him going, I was just like, he goes puzzled. But ultimately, I don't think he's shitting on Knoblauch here either.
No, like Knoblauch and them have made some really good changes. PK's better. I love the way he uses McDavid and Draisaitl. I think it's so much more effective in the grand scheme of things, but they would have made the playoffs with Jay Woodcroft. I will stand by that. I will not move off it. Anyone who thinks that Jay Woodcroft suddenly forgot how to coach after taking this team on a run where they won 3 playoff rounds in the span of 2 years, which is impressive to do in today's NHL. They would have turned it around with Woodcroft. Would it have been to this level? No, maybe not, but they still would have been fine with him.
This team probably makes the playoffs without a coach.
Without a coach?
Just letting Connor and Leon do whatever they want.
You know what? A player coach, we're overdue.
Like not tried that yet.
We can rotate
next
ourselves out there. Whoever has the night, whoever has time to stand on the bench for a couple hours.
Nuge has played for so many coaches at this stage. I feel like if you're going to do it, you just step right in.
It just feels like a lot of the stuff Knoblauch and his staff have implemented into this team just wasn't there before. Even like small things like limiting the amount of players on the penalty kill. And now all of a sudden it's at like 90%. Vincent Desharnais telling him to make passes instead of going glassing out. It's like small details like that have made this team significantly better. And I'm obviously not going to sit here and act like Jay Woodcroft wasn't an excellent coach for this team and took him to different heights. But I don't think they'd be at this point with Woodcroft right now. I really don't. I think they'd be in obviously a lot better than what they were. But I really think Knoblauch is probably giving him a bunch more wins than they would have got.
No 13-game win streak with Woodcroft?
No.
Perfect.
It never happened.
Didn't happen with Sather either, though, to be fair.
There you go.
You know, there goes Waz for his signature segment. Can you clear that up for me?
Not even George Burnett got us a 13-gamer.
Think about it. You know,
it's crazy stuff.
There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross Travel Insurance, protect your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. We are less than 1 month away from hitting the road and going to Arizona. We're going to watch the boys play in a teeny tiny little barn. So little. And I'm very excited about it. The closer we get, the more excited I am to go, because the experience of watching an NHL game in a rink that small is going to be so cool.
Are we working on our itinerary yet? Because I just noticed it's like a 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon game.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's 2 o'clock on our app right now, and I just don't know if it's 2 or.
I think they're an hour ahead.
Sometimes, but sometimes I think we're.
It is currently 2:38, same time.
Same time.
Oh,
so
wow.
2 o'clock game.
Yep.
All right.
So now we really have to stick to the 1 before 10 or 10 before 1.
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty good at that anyways.
Well,
It's
something to consider. Something to consider. Go to nationgear.ca. We still got a couple of spots left. There's a couple of different packages for you. There's the entire one where you can get your flights with us, or if you're going to be down there, we have a hotel and tickets package as well. That is the flightless package. So there's a couple of those available for you on nationgear.ca. Let's wrap up the podcast, boys, with a preview of tonight's matchup against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oilers looking for a 14th straight win. What are you expecting, Liam? What was the vibe on Oilers Nation every day for today from the boys and from the chat?
Well, we just spoke about trades for most of the episode, but that was
Pedal to the floor tonight, though, right?
Yeah, I think they got to find their offense, which is a crazy thing to say about this team, and I think this is an opportunity to do it. So I'm looking for them to get out there in the first period and have a really strong first period and get the ball rolling, so Jay can hit his Oilers win every period bet.
Ooh, plus 450?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love those. That's a good sweat, too. I love that bet. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I just kind of the same as Liam. Like, I'm not worried about this team defensively or anything like that. I think the only way they lose tonight to Columbus is if they get goalied, and at some point their luck will run out. They will lose a game eventually.
Nope.
But you look at this run this week: Columbus, Chicago, Nashville. These are all very, very winnable hockey games. Go get the job done. How nice will it be to roll into the All-Star break after a perfect January? And it's doable.
It is absolutely doable. I just think for me the most important thing is don't look past what's got to happen tonight.
I'm allowed to.
You are, but the boys can't.
Because I don't have to do anything on the ice tonight. I can look past it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see them have a period like they did against Seattle where they're giving up breakaways on breakaways on breakaways. They got out of it. Stu bailed them out, especially on the third one of the period. But if they hit the ground running from period one, there's no reason they can't win tonight.
Their biggest obstacle is themselves.
Yeah.
They stay out of their own way, they're going to win this.
Yeah.
They stay out of their own way, they're going to win on Thursday. If they stay out of their own way, they're going to win on Saturday. Now, here is the question.
I told you, Dallas, mid-February.
I know we brought up last week. Do they, yes or no? Do they get to Vegas? Do they get to Vegas this way? Or do they get to Vegas? Are they going to get to the Vegas game? Are we going to get to 60 minutes to tie the record?
Yes.
Because that's what that means. If they got to the Vegas game, that they would be playing for.
Do you think they're going to go there? Do you think they win
will.
there?
We'll be playing for the record out of the All-Star break. I'm confident in that.
I love it. Dan,
Question. Do they play the next game to have the record on their own?
I can't look that far ahead. I can't.
Come on.
the answer is yes.
It's totally
Yes,
doable.
they're getting the damn record.
It's yes is the answer, Dan. But we're starting tonight.
Yeah.
CBJ up first.
Yeah, I think that tonight's a perfect night to just get your offense going. The highest scoring player on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Anybody? Can you guess who it is?
Johnny Gaudreau.
Still
Johnny
Boone
Gaudreau
Jenner?
with 29 points.
Who is
Johnny
it?
Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau. 29
Gugu's
points.
having a rough year.
So it's a night to go out and light up Elvis Merlikins, make him get that trade offer, get down lower. But
Can I just quickly on the topic of rattling off the wins? If they were to win out this weekend, then if they were to beat Vegas,
Yeah.
we love the Oilers, but we can all recognize objectively hilarious if you lose to the Ducks with an NHL record on the line,
How
right?
dare you? No.
Would be-
No, Tyler.
Would be very, very funny.
You want
I-
to know what my
I
biggest
think-
problem is with this win streak? I'm looking at our friends at Betwix. I'm 19 plus. Could do so responsibly. Money line minus 400. Puck line minus 205.
It was not that long ago that we looked at the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup, and they were plus 1,600, plus 1,400 in that area right now. They are now the leading team in both 365 and Betway at plus 600 or something like that. For the record, I have them both at 1,100.
stands to reason during a 13 game win streak. that
Drives
you
me
would-
nuts, Dan.
No, that's just it though, because when we were playing like trash, Vegas really didn't change the odds for us to win a game. Like we were in Vancouver trying to bet on the Seattle game.
Just remember,
And we were looking at the numbers, and it was like we were 9-4, not 3-9 and whatever the hell we were.
it's always going to be the public that's going to tell Vegas what to do, though.
So it's like one of my bets that I've really liked lately is money line, and especially during this run, money line and over 5.5. It's minus 136. You pump it up to 6.5. It's minus 103. Like
Minus
The Oilers have
103
also
for
been a
7
sneaky
goals.
good under team.
yeah,
Oh, that's a lot.
life's too short to bet the under.
Connor McDavid power play point minus 105. Let's go Betway.
I got Nugent Hopkins power play point.
This team
Plus
comes out and
120.
plays the way they have in the last 12 games, where they're allowing 2 or less goals. They're gonna be just fine.
Columbus,
and this
what's
could easily,
Columbus under 1.5 goals as a team?
yeah, that's. I hate those bets, but that's one of those bets you might want to look at right now.
Where do I find that?
Even if they did something stupid and came out and scored in like the first 45 seconds or a minute and a half, like we've seen before, we've seen teams do that and then not put up.
Oh, I see Columbus 2.5.
Oh, what's that? What's the under there?
Under is -125.
Okay.
At 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5.
Oh, 1.5's got to be juicy then.
It might be another
Maybe.
4-2 win coming.
Honestly, I see it 4-2, 5-2.
Get off my 4-2 wins.
4-2 correct score is 11-1.
Maybe a dabble.
What were they?
Little sprinkle.
Back to
They did back-to-backs.
yeah, that's what.
The funny thing about when the Oilers won back-to-back 4-2 games, it was like I won back-to-back 4-2 games. Hilarious. My mentions are always funny when that happens. Any final thoughts? Beating the Columbus Blue Jackets, extending 13-14, extend the Canadian win streak record.
It's unreal, man. I think they're going to get her done tonight.
One key to victory, Dan, and a score prediction, please.
It's going to be the shot total, I think, in the first period. You got to see over, like I'm expecting to see over 15 shots from the Oilers. My final score prediction will be 4-1 Oilers.
Liam, one key to victory and one score prediction, please.
Score lots of goals. 5-0 Edmonton
Tyler,
Oilers.
same question.
Yeah, crush their dreams early on, kind of like Dan said, and I will go with a 6-2 victory.
Rick?
Just play a strong 200-foot game. You won't have any issues. -1.5 is +210.
Ooh, maybe. And what's the score prediction for you?
Well, let's go 5-2.
I'm going to go 4-2 win. Tuck that in the bank. And I think that just because you're playing really well against a shithouse team, just keep playing a simple game. Pucks to the net, get greasy.
But they just
Get
got
those
that
goals.
little prod in the ass again with
They're
the
all
Perry
beautiful to
edition,
me.
right?
Sure.
Like, you can't get too lackadaisical right now. You just had a big move. You brought up Holly, brought in Perry. It gives you a bit of that electric bolt again to keep pushing it forward. There's no complacentness ticking in.
All I'm saying, play a simple game. They've got this. No problem.
Easy breezy.
Easy peasy.
Cover girl.
That is the Tuesday episode of Oilers Nation Radio, everybody. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you on Friday.